Maria asks Anita, please don't tell Bernardo. And Anita agrees. She leaves. She's like, you be home in 15 minutes?
Right, like, and look what happens in that 15 minutes, Anita. You should not have left them alone.
Oh my, you should not have left them alone.
5, 6, 7, 8.
There's no business like show business.
Mamma mia, here I go again. My
Of the music
So can I tell you how Norm Lewis ruins everything for me?
Yes, you can.
Oh god, I love that man so much. Well, I was thinking about Sweeney.
Mm-hmm.
Sweeney is not something I grew up listening to. If you know my mother, that's not surprising at
Nope.
all. She does not do blood. But the only Sweeney I have ever seen was that Barrow Street theater, immersive one,
Where they
where
gave you pie?
I paid for pie,
Yeah.
and Norm Lewis was my Sweeney Todd.
Wow.
And I cannot accept anyone else as ever a Sweeney Todd. And that's the same thing with Javert in Les Mis.
Mhm.
My first experience with Les Mis was watching whatever 2010
Yeah,
concert production with Alfie Boe and Norm Lewis playing Javert. And then I went on to see Russell Crowe do it, and I was like, how dare you?
Well, listen,
How dare you stand where he stood?
having not experienced that one, I still had the same reaction to Russell Crowe as Javert, so I don't think that is exclusive.
That's not necessarily relevant to this episode.
But it has the same tonal feeling.
Yeah.
Hi, guys.
All right. Welcome to 5, 6, 7, 8, a movie musical podcast, the podcast where we review and recap movie musicals.
Yeah.
And today is a very special episode for a number of reasons.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't introduce myself. I'm Anna.
I'm Grace.
We are your chaotic co-hosts.
Indeed.
And this episode is the 1961 original West Side Story.
Now, this is special for a bunch of reasons. We decided to put it out at this time because the new West Side Story is coming out in about a month, which is very excited to see
December
that.
10th.
This was the first musical that I was ever in, so it's very special to me. And then this also happens to be the day after Stephen Sondheim passed. So it's a big ol' emotional journey today, guys. It might be a longer one than normal because I have a bunch of dramaturgy. So strap in.
Have you ever seen... I mean, you were in this
I was
once,
in this. This was my first musical ever. Far too young. I was 12.
Was it West Side Story Junior?
No,
Is there a
it was
junior?
not. It was West Side Story, and a bunch of 12 and 13-year-olds were like, we got this! And it was a lot of fun. I was Minnie, which is the third girl in the cool sequence. The unnamed girl in the cool sequence. And I loved it, man. I love this musical. And it's really, a lot of it is because this show introduced me to performing and, being in a musical.
I've never seen a stage production of this, I don't think. I'm, racking my brain.
I don't think
And
I
don't
have
think
either.
I have. But the movie's coming out,
Yes, it is.
and I'm excited for that.
Yes.
And while I was watching this, it's just such a good... All right, I'm letting my emotions get ahead of us.
Yep.
We have not even started. All right. Well, I will say, this might be a bit of a more emotional episode, but, oh boy, we got goons and gangsters and waiters in this film.
Man, we hit the trifecta in this one.
Truly. All right, we start.
We
New
begin
York City.
With the longest overture with absolutely nothing else happening. Most of the time when you get an overture starting a movie, you at least get credits rolling. No!
They were like, you're gonna listen to Leonard Bernstein's masterful
And you're gonna like it,
piece.
and I did.
We are in New York City, and
Yes,
we
we
have
are.
quiet aerial shots of roads, bridges, neighborhoods, with disembodied,
Whistling.
ominous whistling over
Yeah.
top.
And then suddenly, the snaps begin. I learned how to snap my fingers because I was in this. I could not snap my fingers before West Side Story.
Natalie Wood, who played Maria, could not snap, and
Yeah.
all of her snaps were dubbed.
That's so funny.
Sorry if that was a fun fact. I kept thinking of that every time she snapped. I was like, that's not
you. So we end up in a concrete playground basketball court kind of deal, and we see a group of boys snapping together. Our lead boy is Riff, and these are the Jets.
Question.
Yeah.
How old are these characters? supposed to be?
I think they're supposed to be late teens, early 20s.
Okay.
Baby John, I think, is the youngest at maybe 16. And then up from there. I don't think any of them are supposed to be older than, like, 22.
It's from 61. It's set in the 50s.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking of, like, are these kids still in high school, or are they dropped out of high school?
Oh, I think they're
just,
definitely
like,
dropped
hooligans
out.
with no jobs.
Yeah.
But that makes it even harder to figure out how old they are.
Exactly, yes.
What was your academic trajectory? All right.
Sir.
The reason I ask is because so many of these men are clearly not
men.
teenagers. But I was just like, are they supposed to be adults? Or young adults? I did not know. Anyway, take it away.
Fair enough. So the Jets are obviously in charge of this area. Now, this whole big opening bit has almost no words except for beat it and yes and stuff like that. Scram! And all of that. So they start to walk through the basketball court. They're obviously in charge. And then choreography begins and it just makes my heart happy. And I'll talk about Jerome Robbins a little bit at the end. But they're just sort of walking around, living their lives, and then they run into Bernardo. Bernardo is new to the area. He is Puerto Rican, and they are not happy that he's there. They sort of brush him off, but a couple of the Jets go after him and threaten him. And Bernardo doesn't like that, so he makes a decision. So he starts to snap.
Have we said that the Jets are all white and Bernardo is Puerto Rican?
Yes, so the Jets are
Did
all...
you say that?
I did not say that the Jets were white.
It's a white
gang, because those always go so well. And Bernardo starts to snap, and he gathers more people with him, and so they are the Sharks. So we have the Sharks, who are all Puerto Rican, and we have the Jets, who are all white.
I think they're supposed to be, like, descended of, like, Polish immigrants.
Polish and Italian, I think.
Yeah.
And Irish.
Yeah. A lot of derogatory slangs thrown around in this
there
film.
is. For everyone. So we have now the Jets and the Sharks, and there's a bunch of sort of back and forth fighting where things sort of start, the tensions are rising. Then there's this one interaction on a basketball court where they are about to fight, but then they disperse, but one Shark and one Jet are left. I don't know the name of the Shark, but I'm pretty sure the Jet is Action, who throughout the show has a really hard time controlling his temper.
Yeah.
And they end up in a fight, and it escalates from there.
It turns into this big fight. Everyone turns around for the Sharks and the Jets to all go after each other, but this fight is broken up by the arrival of two men, Officer Krupke, an NYPD police officer, and Lieutenant Shank, who's
Shrank,
a detective?
Yeah, something like that. He's a lieutenant. And if the Jets and Sharks have one thing it's in common, it's their disdain for the cops.
The only time they stop fighting each other is to fight the police.
Yeah, exactly.
There is one Jet who is, as we said before, who is younger. His name is Baby John, and he got a little picked on during the fight.
They
and
pierced
got a little bloodied up. Lieutenant Shank kind of pulls him aside and is like, all right, which one of them did this to you? And the Jets say, you know what, I think it was a cop. They do not put the blame on the Sharks.
No.
Lieutenant Shank gets frustrated with them and says, you know what, if you want to kill each other, do it. Just not on my beat. Not on my street.
There's a lot of great one-liners from Bernardo in this sequence where they say it's a cop and the cop's like, oh, that's impossible. And he's like, in America, nothing is impossible. And it's all very sassy. And it's like, he gives that speech about like, don't kill each other. Do you understand? He's like, would you mind translating that into Spanish? And it's very sassy. The Jets do also find that funny and laugh. So there's like, the camaraderie in the hatred of the cops is real.
Shank also says he wants the Jets to make nice with the Sharks or he'll get in trouble and get demoted to, like, traffic cop or whatever. Shrank and Krupke leave. The Sharks disperse, and we follow the Jets into an alley, and they're just kind of commiserating how they're getting yelled at from literally every angle.
Yeah.
Like, the cops are on them.
Their parents, society.
We briefly meet Anybody's, who is a young woman who wants to be part of the Jets gang, and 50s sexism says no.
Yeah.
They're like, no, you're a freak because she wears pants and has a shorter haircut.
Yeah.
And they constantly just rebuff her the entire film. But we get a little bit of a Jet team meeting where they're like, we worked hard for this territory. Yeah. They say, we worked hard for this territory. We're not going to give it up because the Sharks are encroaching on Jet territory.
Yes.
And they say that we're going to have one all-out fight to finish this, push the Sharks out. It's going to be a rumble. And we've met Riff, who is kind of our one half of the Jets leadership. And Riff's like, I'm not going to do anything without Tony, who's not here. And all the other Jets are like, Tony's never here. Tony got a job.
Yep.
They kind of sound like that.
Just a little bit. They agree that they have to throw the challenge to Bernardo so they can set up a war council to dictate the terms of this rumble. Very silly. Especially if you think that they're all like 19 and like a 19-year-old being like, we have to have a war council. And I'm just like, okay.
Riff stands up for Tony. All the Jets are like, Tony has a job. Tony's never here. Tony's not standing up for us. And Riff's like, Tony will stand up for us. And then we get the Jet song.
Yes.
If you know the song, when you're a jet all the way, kind of a thing.
Love it.
Lots of dancing in the streets and in alleyways. And they decide they'll challenge Bernardo tonight. There is a dance at a gymnasium, which is considered neutral territory. And they're like, oh, you're going to go into neutral territory? And Riff's like, I'm not going to fight. I'm just going to challenge him.
Yeah. The song finishes, and we cut to a back alley. Riff and Tony are there, and Riff is trying to convince Tony to come to help him at the gym tonight, but Tony isn't having it.
There's a lot of characters I want to briefly describe. Like, Riff and Tony are both late teens, early 20s white men.
Yes.
Tony doesn't want to go to the dance.
No. So, and Riff is trying to, like, pull in his history with Tony. We've always been working together. Womb to tomb, that sort of thing. One of the versions of that they had to cut for censors was sperm to worm.
Sperm to worm.
It's my favorite one.
They say birth to earth instead.
Yeah. They roughhouse a bit, and eventually Tony's like, listen, I have to go back to work, go back to the Jets. And Riff is like, well, have you found anything better? And Tony starts to open up to Riff. He says, not yet, but I'm looking for something. And every night I wake up and I'm reaching for something. I don't know what it is, but there's something else out there. And I'm so sorry, guys. Anna just put on sunglasses, and it's very silly.
I am staring directly into the sun trying to record this. Leave me alone.
I know, it was just out of nowhere. Anyway, Riff convinces Tony to come to the dance by saying, who knows, maybe what you're looking for will be at the dance tonight. And Tony very sadly says, I'll live to regret this, but agrees to go. So, Riff leaves, then Tony starts to sing, Something's Coming.
He's like, maybe the thing I've been reaching for will be at this dance. And we get Something's Coming, which is one of my favorite songs from this film, which is very much like, I can feel like something's just within reach.
It's like when you have a word on the tip of your tongue.
For me. Sorry, this scene really quickly took place in an alleyway behind Doc's soda candy shop. Doc is like an older white man who kind of looks out for the kids in the neighborhood. And we traverse a lot of alleyways in this film. We're going to cut now to a different place. We are cutting to a bridal fashion shop. We meet Anita and Maria for the first time. Maria is a young Puerto Rican woman. Anita is a couple years older. They are working, and Anita is currently mending a dress for Maria to wear for the dance at the gym tonight, and Maria's like begging for the neckline to be lowered just a little bit, definitely pushing the buttons. Anita's very much like an older sister character. They're not related. Anita is dating Bernardo, who we met before, who is Maria's brother, and Maria's kind of promised already to marry this other shark named Chino, but it's sketchy details. And Anita's like, no, I'm not lowering the neckline. Bernardo will kill me. And Maria's like, oh, it's a white dress, and white is for babies.
I don't want to wear it.
But then she puts it on, and she's like, all right, actually, this is really
Actually,
pretty.
I look real hot. It's all good.
Yeah.
But yeah, the whole thing with Chino is that she's been brought there to marry Chino, but she says, when I look at Chino, nothing happens. And Anita's like, well, what do you expect to happen? She's like, I don't know, something. So she's just really not clear about what her position is here now, newly in America.
Just then Bernardo arrives with Chino in tow, and Bernardo wants Chino to keep an eye on Maria at the dance tonight. Bernardo's like very puff chest, protective older
Big
brother. And Maria says that she feels like tonight with this dance is the beginning of her new life here in America. And then she spins in the dress shop, and we fade out and fade back in to the many colors.
Dance at the gym!
To the dance at the gym! With that fantastic music.
I fucking love this scene. This dance scene is amazing. The Jets and the Sharks are all there. Bernardo starts to introduce Maria around. The Sharks and the Jets sort of see each other from across the room, and they walk towards each other like there might be drama, but then the guy who runs the dance hall,
the MC,
the Glad Hands, who is one of our waiters, he's just trying to
He's our waiter.
Yeah, he's just trying to do his job.
This poor MC is just trying to do his goddamn job that he's been hired to do.
Oh, man.
And he's not trying to get in between a gang war of children.
He's like, oh, all right, okay.
Also, Officer Krupke is there, and Mike was like, why is there a police officer at this gym? Fair question. Fair question.
So they say that they're going to do something special tonight.
Yeah, MC's like, we're going to have a get-together dance. Because up until now, the Sharks and the Jets had only been dancing with members of their own gang.
Mm-hmm.
And the MC's like, we're going to get everyone to dance with each other. So they will do a circle of boys and then a circle of girls on the inside. And they're going to go in opposite directions. It's kind of like musical chairs.
Musical partners.
Yeah, it's whenever the music stops, you have to dance with whoever's across from you, whether or not they're from your gang or not.
Yes.
So they start this, the music stops, and immediately they ignore the rules and pull dance partners from their own gang and go right back into what takes us into Mambo!
Yes!
Bum, 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 ba, bum, 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 bum.
Mambo. It's a dance battle, basically, and it's hard to describe, but this is my homework, is to watch this dance scene. This in America, and maybe just the whole movie, we'll see. As this dance battle is happening, Tony walks in, and Riff goes to greet him, and this whole long dance happens where each side is sort of showing off.
The dance battle.
Yeah.
You've seen Step It Up.
You've seen Step It Up, and most likely this movie as well.
Oh wait, it's Step Up. It's Step Up.
Is it?
Is it? Step Up? Yeah, it is, because the second one is Step Up 2, The Streets. Starring Channing Tatum.
Oh, that one.
All right.
Across the room, Maria and Tony spot each other, and the world kind of goes quiet for them.
Fades away. The gym fades away, and we get a Maria-Tony dance over an orchestral version of the song Maria, which we haven't heard yet. And there are a couple background dancers. It's very much a quiet kind of twirling around each other dance. And there's a little bit of dialogue of, have we met before?
Yeah.
And the other says, no, I definitely would have remembered.
Are you joking with me? I have never learned to joke that way. Immediately in love, and they both kind of acknowledge how crazy this is.
Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah, but they're both into it, and eventually they come together and they kiss.
I didn't even realize it was happening at first. I was like,
Also, he is so much taller than her. He's like a foot taller than her.
Yeah.
So the kiss happens, and the world comes back into focus, and Bernardo comes in and pushes Tony away from Maria and tells her,
I was just like, hey!
tells her, Americans only want one thing from Puerto Rican girls, and Tony's trying to be like, no, that's not true.
Tony and Maria are definitely like a little bit dazed in that like incredible connection they had. They didn't realize who the other person was and what the other person was associated with.
Right.
So it's kind of like a 1-2 punch for Tony, where it's like he's being accused of only wanting one thing, and he's like, you're a shark sister?
And not even any shark sister. You're the leader of the shark's sister. Shit.
2 households, both alike in dignity.
So Riff comes over and breaks it up, and Bernardo leads Maria away and tells Chino to take her home. Tony hears her being called Maria. He starts to follow her out in a daze, and Bernardo goes after him, but Riff intercepts, and this is when he throws down the Rumble Challenge. So they agree to meet at midnight at Doc's candy store to set the terms for this fight that they're going to have. Cut to Tony leaving the dance.
He is in his own world, like flying on cloud 9, walking through the streets of New York, and he starts to sing the song Maria. The strings in this orchestration.
It's so pretty.
So good. It's essentially like that Maria is the most beautiful word I've ever heard. I don't know how I've lived without not knowing the name Maria. And last note was a little flat there, buddy.
But it wasn't him, so.
All in all. That's true. It wasn't him. We'll get to that.
Yeah. All right, cut to Maria's apartment. Bernardo is telling her that he knows best, and when she's an old married woman and has 5 kids, she can boss him around, but for now it's the other way around. So he leaves, and Anita goes with him, and they go up to the roof.
Anita gives Bernardo a hard time. She's like, Maria is in America now.
She's allowed to dance with whoever she wants.
Yeah. And Anita kind of mocks Bernardo's speech.
Basically, he's giving this whole speech about how if you're white and you come into the country, then you're accepted with open arms, but if you're brown and you come in, then you're looked down upon and discriminated against. But this is a speech that he has obviously given a lot of times, and so she sort of speaks along with him. It sort of makes fun of him because it's something that she has heard far too many times. Then a sort of debate ensues between the guy sharks and their dates.
The girl sharks.
The girl sharks, about whether Puerto Rico is better or being in the U.S. is better. And this is the song America.
It's such fantastic wordplay.
It's fabulous. Now, they did have to rewrite this song a bit, and I'll talk about it later, because this is a different version than what is in the original show.
The gist is the girls are saying all of these fantastic opportunities are here for us in America, and the men are reminding them, well, yeah, but doors get slammed in our face. We are only allowed to have cleaning and cooking jobs, but the girls at the end of the day are like, yeah, but we're better here than we were back home in Puerto Rico. And it's a fantastic partner dance. We haven't talked about this, but this was also for the dance in the gym. There's fantastic acrobatics and tumbling in this film.
Everyone in this is ridiculously fit and capable and athletic. I have a quick comment.
Sure.
So this number ends, and at the end, I wished that I was in an audience so I could stand up and give a standing ovation at the end of this number. And what was it? It was during Cats. We were discussing how it's hard sometimes for a dance show to recreate the energy and the excitement of watching live dance in a filmed version. And I think that this song and Dance at the Gym were able to do that, in which I got the same feeling that I get when I watch that sort of dance in person.
I agree. Now, I do have a question to partner that with, which is, in this film, after every single musical number, they would strike the pose, and there would be about 2 seconds of holding it, and then it would cut to another camera angle, as if they had been holding it for an audience reaction, and then it cut to another angle, and then they were, like, back into the scene. What did you think about that?
I didn't mind that, mostly because I was yelling comments at the screen.
Okay.
And, like, I had to pause after America anyway, and I was just like, okay, that, like, took a lot out of me, and I'm, like, feeling, I'm, like, my breath is short, I'm just like, oh man, I felt like I was dancing with them. And so I didn't mind, because it wasn't comedy that they were pausing for, it was a final dance that they were pausing for. I don't know why that feels different in my emotional journey, but it does.
Oh, that's fair. I was just curious.
Yeah.
Because it was an aspect of this film that I did not remember from the last time I saw it.
Yeah.
And it kept happening. Actually, it only happened after the dance numbers. It did not happen after the songs.
Yeah.
Although, maybe they, like, held the pose, but it wasn't quite so, like, arms out, like,
shoulders.
Yeah, hold the pose while breathing. Yeah. Anyway, the song
Mm-hmm.
ends. The men go down the stairs to leave. The women follow. Bernardo asks Anita if she'll wait up for him, and she's like, no, I'm gonna do stuff with my night. You can go to your war council, or you can, like,
spend the night with me.
Yeah, but you can't have both.
Yeah.
And he's like, but I want both. And so she says, I'm American now. I don't wait.
Yeah, love her. And I love their relationship, which is so teasing, and neither one of them sort of lets the other one walk over them, which is great.
Yeah.
Then everyone says goodnight.
Cut to Tony. Somehow Tony knows where Maria lives. I have a feeling it's because he knows where Bernardo lives.
In my mind, he's just been wandering the streets yelling Maria, and, like, 3 different Marias have come out and just been like, one? He's like, wrong one. I'll go down a different alley.
Wrong Maria, sorry. Anyway, Tony knows where Maria is now. He sneaks into the alley, he calls out her name, she appears on a balcony, and it's the balcony scene from Romeo and Juliet.
He asks her to come down, but she won't, and so he comes up.
She's like, I'm in white, New York is dirty.
Absolutely not. And she says that them being together is too dangerous, but Tony says, I'm not one of them. She says, but you aren't one of us, and my dad is afraid. He's like Bernardo, and he wouldn't understand, and they start to sing the song Tonight.
Side note, I guess because of how protective Bernardo was in the beginning of this film and how she was saying, like, oh, this is my first night in my new life in America, I didn't realize her parents were here as well.
Yeah.
I got the vibe that, like, she was here on her own, and that's why Bernardo was being so protective of her.
Yeah.
But no, her parents are also here. She just lives with Bernardo.
Yeah, and I think there's one line at some point where Anita says she has her own parents, and Bernardo is like, yeah, but they don't understand how dangerous it actually is here.
Maybe I missed that, because at one point, Tony's being a loud doofus, and Maria's like, shut the fuck up, my parents are right out, like, that's their window.
Tony is the OG himbo. He just is, like, big and dumb and super sweet.
Big and blundering.
Oh boy.
Oh my gosh. But we finished the duet tonight. It's lovely.
It's so pretty.
Her parents are yelling for her. They're like, what are you doing out there? He has to leave, and they agree they will meet the next night after she gets off work at the bridal shop. He'll come in, and she's like, use the back door, like, so you can sneak in.
And they both tell each other.
say, I love you.
Yeah. Cut to Doc's candy store. So the Jets are messing around.
The Jets are just loitering
and waiting for the
sharks to show up, being nuisances to society.
Some of them are anxious. There's like a mini tussle with Anybody's and Baby John's that they start fighting. But Riff and his number 2, I guess, Ice, come in to break it up. And Riff tells them all to cool down and that the sharks will be there soon and that when they arrive, all the girls have to head out.
Just then, not the sharks. Officer Krupke pulls up.
Our OG goon.
Just tells him to, what do you, stop loitering. Get the fuck out of here.
Go home.
And he drives off. We get the G Officer Krupke song, which is just
fun and silly.
Just lunacy.
And making fun of, like, a system that they feel has failed them. And
Yes. Like, why they are teenage delinquents.
Yeah. And this is one of the changes that I fully agree with that the movie made. So Officer Krupke originally happens later on after the Rumble. And what happens here is cool. Because everyone's sort of antsy and tense. And he's like, okay, everyone, be cool. But they switched it because they felt like the tone of Officer Krupke on stage, it helps to lighten the mood and, like, releases some of the tension, but in a movie they wanted the tension to build all the way to the end, and so they ended up switching it, and I honestly think it's better.
You keep saying Krupke.
Krupke.
The P is coming through my headphones as an M.
Oh, no.
Krupke, and I was like, do you know this?
Krupke. Krupke.
Yeah, Krupke.
Yeah.
Krupke. Come through as an M for me. Maybe it won't when we're editing this.
We'll see.
Just like, what? Just then, Doc, who owns the candy shop, opens up the doors and has them come in.
Who I would say is another waiter.
I wrote Doc is the waiter. Also, justice for Doc, and I'm going to get to that in a minute. But he opens the door. He's like, what the fuck are you all doing out here? I need to lock up. And they're like, nope, can't lock up. We got to have a war council here.
He should have just locked up.
Yeah, and then Bernardo shows up and the other sharks arrive. Riff is just bossing Doc around in his own shop. Like, fuck you, Riff.
Get the fuck out. Like,
yeah, justice.
Ridiculous.
Justice for Doc.
Absolutely, agreed. So the sharks arrive, the girls go off, and they start laying down conditions. Eventually, the sharks accept. They agree to it being tomorrow night under the highway. And as they start talking about weapons, Tony runs in.
Not expecting a war council.
No. Hey, Doc!
Being like, oh, read the room.
And Bernardo clocks that was the guy who was with his sister, and so suddenly he's willing to escalate more than he might have before. So they start calling for more and more weapons and more intense stuff until Tony calls them cowards for choosing to use weapons. It's like, what happened to just plain skin? And he says that the Rumble could be just one-on-one, your best man against our best man. They slug it out, and then that's it.
And Bernardo agrees to this, thinking that that means he's going to get to fight Tony.
Right.
But no, it's going to be...
Ice.
Ice? Yeah, Bernardo's like, what? I've been bamboozled. Just then, Lieutenant Schrank arrives, and they all panic and start to feign playing nice because they don't want to get caught.
One of my favorite lines is in this whenever Riff turns to Nardo and is just like, hey, Bernardo, baby, do you want to smoke? And he's like, no, thank you, I do not smoke. It's just, I don't know why I found that so funny.
Hey, Bernardo, baby. That's so funny. Schrank kicks the sharks out because he's racist.
Yep.
And they whistle God Bless America as they filter out one by
so
one. So
passive-aggressive,
and Schrank then tries to, like, play buddy-buddy with the Jets, being like, all right, I know the Rumble's gonna happen. Tell me where it's gonna be, but no one gives up any info.
Absolutely not.
And at this moment, I'm just like, you are a grown-ass man fighting with children. These are children.
Yeah, which Doc then judges him on as well.
I think that's why I wrote that note. But Schrank does not get the information he wants. He and all the Jets leave, so only Doc and Tony are left. And Tony is, like, floating above the floor. Like, he is still on Cloud 9. Such a
cute dummy.
And he kind of lets Doc in on the secret that he's in love. And he says, Buenos noches to Doc. And you see the light bulb go off over Doc's head. He's like, what?
Oh my god.
Oh no.
So Tony leaves, and he walks home through the basketball court, where he will die in exactly 24 hours. And Act 1.
And it's the instrumental of the Maria song. That is Act 1. We got a whole 30 seconds of intermission in this
It was
film.
so funny. So this was perfect because the intermission showed up, and then I was just like, quick, because I was making food, and so I went and like flipped the meat and poured myself a glass of wine, and I came back around right as it opened up into the next one, and I was like, amazing!
We end intermission with the chords of I Feel Pretty. We see Maria in the bridal shop, not doing work, just trying on a bunch of hats and twirling, whereas 3 other shark girls working in the bridal shop as well, she's just twirling around and fucking around and not pulling her weight.
And they're like, oh, what has Chino done to her? She looks different. I
She's
wonder
like,
what's happening.
Chino.
She's like, Chino, I don't know him. So Maria starts to sing the song, I Feel Pretty.
She's like, I feel amazing. I won't tell you my secret, though.
No.
But we get I Feel Pretty because she's in love.
But she does say that she's loved by a boy.
Mm-hmm.
So the song ends, and the boss comes in and tells them to stop fucking around and to just go home.
And Maria offers to lock up so Anita can leave, because normally Anita locks up.
Mm-hmm.
But in doing so, Anita accidentally spills the beans about the rumble tonight. And Maria's like, what? What rumble?
I know.
With the boys?
Anita says that they fight to get rid of all of their emotion, and then she says, after a fight, that brother of yours is so healthy.
I can't wait to talk about the quintet
Oh boy.
verse with Anita. But just then our big dummy Tony
Himbo.
bursts in, thinking that Anita would be gone by now, and so he's just caught in the middle between Maria and Anita, and
Oops.
he's just like, oh, this is why you wanted me to leave.
Okay.
Okay, Tony is so not subtle. It's
No,
so
not at
funny.
all. And he's like, oh, buenas noches. And she's like, absolutely not. Too early. And she corrects him.
And he's like, gracias.
Maria tries to cover and say, oh no, he's just here to deliver aspirin. But Anita is not an idiot and doesn't buy it.
Yeah.
Also, Tony is in no way subtle. And he's like, we're over the moon. And she's just like, okay.
Maria asks Anita, please don't tell Bernardo. And Anita agrees. She leaves. She's like, you'll be home in 15 minutes.
Right, like, and look what happens in that 15 minutes, Anita. You should not have left them alone.
Oh my, you should not have left them alone.
So,
Anita leaves. Maria turns to Tony. She knows about the rumble, and she's like, please go and stop it. Any fight that happens is bad for us, being you and me and the future of our relationship.
Yes.
He wasn't going to go, but he sees how much it means to her, and he agrees to go to stop it.
then they start doing make-believe about what their parents would think of each of them, and it's a very cute scene, honestly.
Oh yeah, there's all these mannequins in the bridal shop, and
Yeah.
they'll pretend like one's the mother, one's the father.
And so he jokes and asks the mannequin dad for her hand in marriage, and then suddenly they are giving vows, and it's very, very serious.
Yes, because it's a bridal shop. So,
Yeah.
like, she puts on a veil, and he puts on a top hat, and they're
hat.
joking around. And then the chords of the song One Hand, One Heart start to play, and we get very serious.
Oh, yeah.
And we fully have
A wedding.
an unofficiated wedding.
Yeah.
They exchange vows.
This is what happens in 15 minutes, Anita.
They fully exchange vows. This is different from the Shakespeare in that, like, the friar oversees.
Yeah,
the
in Shakespeare
wedding
they are
Romeo and
legitimately
Juliet.
married. In this one, it's more of like a promise.
Yeah. There was no legally binding document
No.
signed in this 15 minutes.
Smash cut to the Tonight Quintet.
Oh my god, the sky is blood red.
Ugh.
We see Riff and the Jets walking through the alleys.
Mm-hmm.
We see Bernardo and the Sharks on the rooftops. They are just like talking about like what's gonna go down. As you pointed out earlier, Anita does have a line in this, very much implying that, like, once Bernardo comes home from the Rumble, he's all hot and bothered, and so they'll have sex. Anita literally says, like, Anita's gonna get her kicks tonight, so she's putting on, like, sexy
Like thigh-high
stockings.
stockings. Yeah.
Fully did not remember that was part of this film.
Yep, absolutely. I would like to remind everyone that I was 12 when I was in this production. Anyway.
Yeah! Oh my god, but so we have the juxtaposition of, like, these macho men on rooftops and alleyways being like, we're gonna kick butt! Meanwhile, soaring over top of this is a reprise of Maria and Tony's duet Tonight. And they are not together. Tony is
They're
in
separate.
Doc's shop cleaning up for the night. Maria is in her room. And we also see Krupke and Shank just, like, driving around during this. But it culminates in this, like, big, like, quintet of different lyrics
Voices
and
and
vocals.
expectations of what this night is going to bring, and
Yeah.
gorgeous.
10 out of 10.
Would recommend. So, cut to Under the Highway. Everyone starts to arrive, And Ice and Bernardo go into the middle and they start to circle each other. But before anything can really start, Tony comes in to stop everything. Both Bernardo and Riff are pissed at Tony for this interruption. Bernardo calls Tony a chicken for not fighting his own fights, and he keeps escalating until eventually Riff punches Bernardo, and suddenly the fight is between Riff and Nardo. Paunches. There's a lot of paunching in this. So they both pull switchblades, just changing the rules of the game, and let me tell you, no one wins in a knife fight. So Tony tries to interfere, but the other jets restrain him. There's like a back and forth, and there's one moment where Riff is about to stab Bernardo when Tony stops him. And as Riff sort of swings back around to get into the fight, Bernardo is there and stabs Riff
in the
belly. And so as Riff dies, he hands off the knife to Tony.
As he falls, he puts his body weight onto Tony.
Yeah.
Tony lowers Riff to the ground, fully sees red, lunges and stabs Bernardo also in the chest sternum in a rage. Suddenly, it's just chaos.
Big brawl.
Everyone's fighting everyone. And it's not dance fighting like it was before. It is fisticuffs.
And I liked that was the difference, where it was before it was a little bit more about machismo. It was dance fighting, so it was a bit more performative. And this is emotional and
this is brawling.
Beyond that. And there is no dancing in this. It is just children beating the shit out of each other with two of them dead in the middle. It's very intense.
Suddenly, sirens and cop car lights.
Yeah.
Everyone scatters. Riff and Bernardo are dead on the ground. Tony is very badly beaten at this point.
And he's grieving.
Yeah. He crawls over to Riff. Suddenly anybody's is there. She sneaks in. She tries to pull Tony away before the cops arrive. He is so bad at escaping. Granted, he's fully grieving. He's got a lot going on.
Yeah.
He throws himself from one fence to the wall, and the spotlight follows him he can't escape until he literally just flings himself over a chain link fence.
It was so impressive. This chain link fence is a good 12 feet high, and this tall boy just runs at it and throws himself over the top. It is wild.
Out of grief. He could have scaled it a lot better had he not had a lot going on. He also, I'm sorry, I couldn't take this seriously. When he fully realizes the
consequences of what he's done.
What's the word? The consequences of what he's done. He shouts out, Maria!
So apparently this guy wanted to play Tony differently. He wanted to play him a little bit harder and less starry-eyed because he was a former gang member. There should be a level of toughness about him, but the director said no, because they wanted the lovers to be this pure concept of lovers, and so he said that he had a hard time saying some of the lines because he kept laughing at how stupid they were.
Oh my gosh. Cut to Maria waiting for Tony on the roof of her apartment building.
You get this lovely dance.
She dances to kill time.
Yeah. She dances to kill time. Don't we all? It's sort of a reprise of the first dance that they did together.
Yeah.
Chino appears on the roof.
He says he's come from a rumble, and she's like, no, there wasn't a rumble. It was going to be stopped, but Chino says, oh no, there was a rumble.
And we didn't mean for it to happen, but it happened, and she asks about Tony.
She just wants to know about Tony, and Chino gets angry at that she's asking about this jet and not caring about the other sharks, and he yells at her and says that Tony killed Bernardo.
Yeah.
And then he flees back down the stairs. She thinks he's lying. She chases him down the stairs. She doesn't want to believe it.
But then she hears other people saying
confirmation of it.
That Bernardo is dead, and she screams and runs to her room and starts praying that it's not true. And as she's praying, Tony sneaks into her room through the window, and she runs at him and calls him a killer and collapses, and he tries to explain,
in his arms.
You know, whenever Bernardo killed Riff, I just couldn't, I've known him all of my life, he's my brother. And Maria is kind of shocked she hadn't heard that Bernardo killed Riff. It sort of makes a little bit more sense to her.
And he does say that, I went there with the intention of stopping this fight.
Yes.
It just escalated and spiraled beyond my control. And he then asks her for her forgiveness before he goes and turns himself into the police. But she's like, what? No, you can't do that. She says that she loves him, and she asks him instead to stay with her.
And he promises that he'll take her away from New York to a place where no one will stop them from being together.
Away from all this violence.
Yeah. They sing the song Somewhere, which is a very beautiful, poignant,
which is,
sad
again,
song.
just dreaming of a place far away.
The song ends and they fall into bed together.
Yeah. We see that police cars are patrolling the streets. we see one of the Jets kind of like skulking around in the shadows. This is Arab.
Mhm.
He watches the police cars go by, he runs across a street through a junkyard, and then he runs into, what's his name, Baby John?
Yeah.
I was thinking of Little John. I don't think that's
Different.
right. He finds Baby John crying. They're both haunted by the deaths of Riff and Bernardo, but Arab is like, yeah, stop crying.
Yeah, but he also ends up protecting him later. So, like,
yeah, Baby John's definitely like the runt of the Jets.
of the litter.
Yeah, but they leave to go meet up with the other Jets
Yes.
at the garage.
And one of them notices that Baby John's face is a little swollen. He's like, what's up with you? And Arab is like, leave him alone, he's fine, and sort of distracts from that. And
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
Graziella is there, who is Riff's girlfriend, and she's sobbing, and all of them are in shock.
Tony's not there.
Tony's not there.
They're worried Tony got caught by the police. Action, who has been our, like,
Instigator.
this whole film, just wants to, like, go and get revenge on all the sharks. He picks fights with everyone, including the Jets. But kind of standing away from this until finally, like, action just gets totally out of control is Ice. Ice turns around. Ice is the quote-unquote new leader of the Jets with Riff's death. They all go inside the garage, and Ice gives them this, I don't want to call it a pep talk, it's kind of like a threatening pep talk.
Yeah.
But he's like, all right.
Well, and it's just
we gotta
advice.
Stop getting so worked out.
Yeah, it's just
that's
like,
fair.
listen, like, you
An
can't...
intense pep talk is just advice.
It's just advice. It's like, guys. Great.
Oh.
It's very intense advice where basically it's just like, you guys need to calm the fuck down.
Yeah.
Like, if someone throws something in your face, play it cool. If you lose your cool, then you lose. You lose everything.
Yeah, it's getting so worked up gives the police and the sharks opportunities to hurt us.
Yeah.
Ice starts to sing the song Cool to the Jets.
I love this dance.
Oh boy. Do you have a fun fact about this dance? Because I do.
What's yours? Because mine's about the knee pads.
Mine's about the knee pads.
Okay, good. No, it's yours. Take it. I have so many others.
Well, first, let's talk about the dance. It's a fantastic
Oh
dance.
my god.
And it's very wincing and clapping. There's like, it is a frustration, like getting your
And
frustrations
grief
out.
and anger and fear.
Everyone's such a good dancer.
They're so good at dancing.
But the fun fact I'm talking about is this was a very demanding number. Like, obviously, this is a very demanding film for dancers. They were dancing on concrete for most of this film, but this was in a car garage. Multiple performers, after this number was finished filming, they all had to wear knee pads during this film because they were on
you
their
spin
knees.
on your knees a lot.
Yeah. And they all ritually burned their knee pads after finishing the scene because they were like, fuck this.
Fuck this.
It turned out so good, though.
God, it's so fabulous. So my senior year in college, we did this song.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they had us do a collection of classic dance numbers. So we did Chorus Line, and then we did Cool, and we did Sweet Charity, and we did Cool, and I swear to God, it's the hardest dance I have ever hands down had to do above Chorus Line. There's just so much emotion, and you're on your knees half the time, and there's a lot of spinning, and you're like down in a half split, and from there you have to come up fully to your feet and then back down on the other side into a half split. The level of physicality and strength that you have to have is bananas. Anyway, I love this. I love this song. I love this dance. I love this movie. Here we go.
They finish the song, they finish the dance. Now that they've all cooled off, they leave the garage, they talk about laying low. They're walking down the street, just then anybody shows up and they're like, hey, I know where Tony is, I know what's going on. They're like, what? What do you know? And anybody says that Chino is going after Tony, he's searching for him and he has a gun.
Yeah.
So Ice has everyone scatter, they need to find Tony before Chino does, they need to help him because Tony has helped them.
Yes.
They all scatter.
Oh, there's a really brief moment with Anybody's and Ice.
Yeah.
Everyone else scatters off and, like, has a place to go, and Anybody's like, well, what should I do? And Ice says, well, you've found out all this information, stick to the shadows. You got this, buddy boy. So she's officially...
Daddy-o.
Thanks, Daddy-o! She's officially a part of the gang.
Yeah. That was a nice moment. Of just, what's the fucking word I want? I'm so bad at words today. Acceptance? Like...
Acknowledgement?
Yeah, acknowledgement. We'll go with acknowledgement. Just like a nice acknowledgement, especially because Riff had been so anti-anybody's helping at all. So it's nice to see Ice kind of welcoming them.
Yeah, and make that decision.
We see Ice running through the streets looking for Tony, and then we see Chino appear out of the shadows.
Cut back to Maria's. She and Tony are in bed together, and Anita walks into the apartment. She has a black shawl, so she's obviously in mourning. and Tony quickly starts trying to get dressed, but they're big dummies and just keep making out when he should be escaping. And they whisper to each other about what it is that they'll be doing and where they'll meet. Like, and of course, Anita can hear them through the door, and she's like, "Someone's in there," but the door is locked.
Maria's like,
so,
no,
I'm alone. Just one moment. And so
talking to myself. It's the wind.
good. So eventually, Tony leaves, and they agree to meet at docks, I think it is.
Yeah, they're gonna meet at docks later.
And they're gonna get on a bus and leave New York.
Yeah.
Anita comes in and immediately goes to the window and sees Tony running down the alleyway, and anybody's meeting up with him.
Mm-hmm. And Anita's like, "You think you're so slick, don't you?" To
Yeah.
Maria. And starts to sing the song "A Boy Like That," which is essentially, that boy killed your brother. He is not capable of love. He has tricked you. Stick to your own kind, being date someone from our community.
Yeah.
You're asking for trouble by intentionally seeking out someone who is just allied with our enemies.
And
a situation like that.
Maria sings back to her that she's wrong, that she chooses Tony because she loves him, and you said that you were in love with my brother, so you should understand what it is that I'm feeling. I love Tony, and I will choose him always. And Anita isn't happy, but she kind of understands. So the song ends, and Anita tells Maria that Chino is looking for Tony with a gun. Just then, enters our gangster,
Yeah, truly.
Shrank. Just walks right in the room.
A knock at the door. Lieutenant Shrank. He wants to see Maria. He's looking for, quote-unquote, Bernardo's sister. He has questions for her about the murder. Maria and Tony had agreed to, meet as soon as possible at docks. So Shrank is holding up that plan.
Yes.
And she's like, "Well, how long will this take?" And he's like, "I don't know, as long as I deem it necessary." So Maria pulls Anita aside, being like, "I need aspirin. Will you go to docks and get some aspirin for me and say I will be there?
Be there as soon as I can."
Yeah, and Shrank is like, "Something's fishy's going on here."
Yeah.
But doesn't do anything. Anita begrudgingly agrees. She puts her grieving shawl back on and she goes to docks.
Right.
Maria lies then to Shrank about who Bernardo got in a fight with.
At the gym. So he wants to know who was the boy that she danced with at the night because he heard that Bernardo was mad about it. And she says it was another guy from my country. Cut to the Jets. They're all back together at docks. They have Tony locked in the cellar.
He's hiding in the basement, but yeah.
So Ice says that he's going to go out and do another sweep for Chino, and it's also revealed that Doc is out getting money together for Tony to get out of town. Just then, enter Anita.
The Jets do not let her pass. She tries to go in. She says she's looking for Doc. They're like, "Well, he's not here." And she's like, "Well, I don't believe you."
Yeah.
They don't let her pass.
She tries to get to the cellar, but they stop her. And she says that she has a message for Tony, and she's trying to help. But yes, they don't trust her.
They do not believe that she wants to help. They are associating her with Bernardo, who they just murdered.
Yep. Suddenly, it's a full assault.
Full physical assault.
And they throw her to the ground, and they grab Baby John and lift him up and put him on top of her. Doc comes in to stop them.
He yells at them to stop. They fully traumatized her.
Absolutely.
She says Bernardo is right. She walks to the door, and then she tells them to tell Tony that Chino found out about Tony and Maria, and that Chino killed Maria. And she leaves. Doc then kicks the Jets out. He's like, "You're good for nothing. You always cause trouble." They leave, and he goes downstairs to give the getaway money to Tony, but he also has to deliver Anita's message.
Yes. So Tony's down there, and he sees the money in Doc's hand, and he takes it and, thanks him and says, I'm going to name all of my kids after you. And
Even the girls!
Even the girls! And Doc slaps him and is like, "Wake up. Why do you live like there's a war on? Why do you kill? Maria's dead, and Chino killed her." And Tony is devastated.
He runs out of Doc's store. He runs to the streets, and he's just shouting for Chino to come kill him too. Come and get me. Tony does not want to live in a world without Maria.
Yeah.
He goes to the basketball court that we saw in the very beginning, Anybody's finds Tony, and she's like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, she
Shut up.
tries to get him to stop, but he pushes her off. He runs onto the playground. He's still shouting for Chino.
He says he wants to die.
Just then, he sees Maria on the opposite side of the playground. They see each other. He realizes she's not dead. They run to each other, and just as they get to a very conveniently placed street lamp, light circle, Chino appears on the opposite side, shoots at them, shoots Tony. As they embrace, Tony falls into Maria's arms. It is a lethal shot.
It's a big sad.
Suddenly, all the gangs are there. Maria is holding Tony. She sings a reprise of Somewhere to try and comfort him, to get him to stop panicking, but he dies in her arms.
And two gangs watch her, and both start to move towards each other like they're going to fight
As
again.
if to fight.
And Maria yells at them to stop, and she takes the gun from Chino and starts threatening all of them. She wants to know how she can fire it, how many of them can she kill before she will have just still one bullet left for her. And she blames them all for killing Tony with hate. Just then, Lieutenant Schrank arrives, and he starts walking towards Tony, and she yells not to touch him. Eventually, a few jets come forward to pick up Tony to take him away, but they can't quite lift that very tall man. And so a few sharks come in to help, and so together they all pick up Tony and walk him out.
Very much like a funereal procession. Maria follows, and we have a big zoom out of this playground on the remaining gangs as they disperse, and Chino is arrested by Lieutenant Schrank and Officer Krupke, and the film ends.
Yes. Oof!
Whew. Wow, 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 wow.
Wow, wow. Emotional roller coaster.
If you're still here, welcome. This is the Drinks and Dramaturgy portion of the podcast, where we deep dive into dramaturgy and have a little drink. So if you've made it this far, you deserve a little drink, be it water, be it beer, be it wine, coffee,
juice,
whatever you want. All right.
Brace yourselves, y'all.
All right.
I got a lot.
I'm excited. Shall we do a little dramaturgy?
Yes.
Dramaturgy report. Dramaturgy report. This film was directed by Jerome Robbins and Robert Wise. So, Jerome Robbins directed and choreographed the stage version of West Side Story, and when this film was being developed, executive producer Walter Mirisch enlisted Jerome Robbins' services. But Robbins had no film experience. So Robert Wise was hired to co-direct and produce because of his experience with the gritty subject matter and his ability to complete motion pictures under budget and ahead of schedule. Robbins directed his portion of the film first, spending a great deal of time on retakes, on-set rehearsals, discussing setups with Robert Wise. At 45 days of shooting, they were 24 days behind schedule.
Oof.
With the film already so over budget, the producers fired Robbins. They dismissed him, and the remaining dance numbers were directed with the help of his assistants. However, Wise recognized Robbins' considerable creative contributions to this film, and he agreed that Robbins should be given co-directing credit.
Yes.
And they also kept in contact, they discussed production, Wise taking on board many of Robbins' suggestions about the editing of the film. It was a very collaborative experience. Okay, I'll do a little bit about Robert Wise. He was an American film director, producer, and editor. He achieved critical success as a director with, like, every genre, like horror, noir, western, war, science fiction, musicals, and dramas, with repeat successes in each genre. Jerome Robbins was an American choreographer, director, dancer, theater producer. Among his numerous stage productions were On the Town, Peter Pan, King and I, Pajama Game, West Side Story, Gypsy, and Fiddler.
Ugh.
The cinematographer for this film was Daniel Pfapp, who was an American cinematographer best known for West Side Story. He won an Oscar for cinematography, as well as the film The Great Escape in 1963.
Awesome. The writer of the book for West Side Story was Arthur Lawrence. After writing scripts for radio shows after college and then training films for the U.S. Army during World War II, he turned to writing for Broadway. Yeah, what a switch. So he produced a body of work that included West Side Story, Gypsy, Anyone Can Whistle, Do I Hear a Waltz, Hallelujah Baby, The Mad Woman of Central Park West, and Nick and Nora. Now, when writing West Side Story, Arthur Lawrence and Sondheim decided to not use any actual gang lingo for the Jets' dialogue, feeling that it would end up being dated, so instead they mixed in a few actual terms like daddy-o and cool with rhythmic exclamations such as cracko-jacko, oobly-oo, and pam-pam, and basically created their own slang.
I love
Which
that.
honestly still feels very dated. They didn't quite succeed in that.
Oh no.
But it's fun that they basically created their own slang. I'm going to go through a little bit about how the stage musical got made because it was
Okay.
a process. So in 1947, Jerome Robbins approached Leonard Bernstein and Arthur Laurents about collaborating on a contemporary musical adaptation of Romeo and Juliet. And he proposed that the plot would focus between an Irish Catholic family and a Jewish family living on the Lower East Side. It was only after they completed their draft that they realized that it was basically just a musicalization of themes that had already been covered in other plays. And so they all decided just to sort of drop it, and this project was shelved for about 5 years. So 5 to 6 years later, Bernstein suggested that they rework East Side Story and set it in Los Angeles because there were a lot of news stories coming out about young adult gangs. But Laurents felt he was more familiar with Puerto Ricans in Harlem than he was with those in Los Angeles, so he felt that they should keep it in New York. So they contacted Jerome Robbins, who was enthusiastic about the idea of adding in a Latin beat and those sort of dancing styles. So he arrived in Hollywood to choreograph the dance sequences for the 1956 film The King and I, and that's when he and Laurent began developing the musical of West Side Story while working on their own projects that were happening in Hollywood at the time. And they always kept in touch with Bernstein, who had returned to New York at that point. In New York, Laurents went to an opening night party for a play, and there he met Sondheim, who had heard that East Side Story, now retitled West Side Story, was back on track. Bernstein decided that he needed to concentrate only on the music. He had invited other lyricists to come and write the lyrics, but they had decided to work on Peter Pan instead. Laurents asked Sondheim if he would be interested in working on the lyrics, and initially he resisted because he wanted to write the full score for his next project. He didn't want to be known as just a lyricist, but he had a mentorship with Oscar Hammerstein, and Oscar Hammerstein convinced him that he would benefit from the experience, so he ended up accepting. So when a backer's audition failed to raise any money for West Side Story late in the spring of '57, only 2 months before they were supposed to begin rehearsals, producer Cheryl Crawford completely pulled out of the project, and every other producer had already turned it down, saying that the show was too dark and depressing. But Sondheim ended up convincing his friend Hal Prince to read the script. And he liked it, but he decided to ask his friend and mentor for opinion, but his mentor said, don't do it. But Prince said, fuck that noise, and decided to do it anyway. Yeah. And in his memoirs, Prince recalled, Sondheim and Bernstein sat at the piano playing through the music, and by the end I was singing along with them. Love that. But even once they got on stage, it still wasn't easy. So Bernstein was quoted as saying, everyone told us that West Side Story was an impossible project, and we were told no one was going to be able to sing augmented fourths as if, like with Maria.
Yeah.
Also, they said the score was too rangy for pop music, and who wanted to see a show where the first act curtain comes down with 2 dead bodies on stage? The original Broadway production of West Side Story opened at the Winter Garden Theater on September 26, 1957, and ran for 732 performances, and was nominated for the 1958 Tony Award for Best Musical, but it lost to Music Man. But it did win for Jerome Robbins as Best Choreographer and Oliver Smith for Scenic Designer. So, for the screenplay was written by Ernest Paul Lehman. He was an American screenwriter who was nominated 6 times for Academy Awards for his screenplays during his career, but never won. In 2001, he received an honorary Academy Award in recognition of his achievements and his influential works for the screen. He wrote the screenplays for The King and I, North by Northwest, West Side Story, The Sound of Music, and Hello, Dolly. Now, there are some differences between the stage show and what was written for
we touched on
this
that
movie.
A little bit, but I know
We've touched on a few of them. So the role of Ice was created for the film. That did not exist in the musical. We also talked briefly about how the lyrics to America were substantially changed for the movie. So originally it was between Rosalia and Anita. Rosalia, who was romanticizing her remembrance of what Puerto Rico was, but they deemed that the lyrics were too belittling to the country and to Puerto Ricans. And so they ended up changing the lyrics to emphasize the racism and discrimination that they were subjected to in America, and they changed it so that it wasn't just the women dancing it, it was all of the sharks together, which I thought was brilliant, and I like it a lot better this way. I'm not going to go super deep into Sondheim this time, and I decided not to do that because I want to do that after there has been some time after his passing, because I know there's going to be a lot of statements by a lot of people and a lot of conversation about his gifts and his contributions to musical theater, his legacy. So I want to allow for a little bit of time for those remembrances to come out, and also I want to make sure that we're doing it on a movie in which he wrote both the music and the lyrics and not just the lyrics. So in regards to this movie in particular, Sondheim was quoted as saying that while he was writing the stage musical, he originally wanted the show to be the first one in Broadway history to use the words fuck and shit in song lyrics. He wanted the end of G Officer Krupke to be G Officer Krupke, fuck you. Yeah, instead of what it is, which is now Krupp you.
Even 10-year-old Anna knew what Krupp you was supposed to
Knew what that was
mean.
supposed to be.
You weren't fooling anyone, Stephen.
No one was fooled. However, the show's writers were informed that if the original cast album contained those profanities, it would have been illegal to ship the record across state lines. So they had to change it. So, for actors and casting, I swear, I'm almost there, guys. We're almost done. I wanted to talk about Rita Moreno because she is fabulous. So she is a Puerto Rican-born American actress, dancer, singer, known for her notable work across the entertainment industry. She's appeared in film and television and theater projects, and her career has spanned 70 years. She's one of the few performers to have won an EGOT. She got the Presidential Medal of Freedom, and Barack Obama presented her with the National Medal of the Arts. She was awarded at a Kennedy Center Honors Lifetime Artistic Achievement Award for her contribution to performing arts and American culture, and she also got a Peabody Career Achievement Award in 2019. So she is absolutely fabulous. So in terms of the other casting, originally Robert Wise wanted Elvis Presley to play Tony, but Presley's manager refused since Elvis would only sing 6 of the 12 songs, and because he would not have exclusive rights to the soundtrack.
What, like Tony only sings in 6 songs? Is that it?
I think so.
So they were like, either he sings in every song or
He
we're
doesn't-
not doing it.
Which does not make sense. A boy like that? Hello? Like... Now, Russ Tamblyn, who played Riff, originally tried out for Tony, and it was down to just him and Richard Beymer, and Beymer ended up getting it, but then the casting directors called him back in and asked him to read for Riff, and so he ended up getting that part. So Richard Beymer later confessed in an interview that he wasn't happy with how his performance came out, saying that he wanted to play Tony as a rougher and tougher and more like an actual street kid who used to run around with a gang and start fights for fun, but the director made him play Tony as the nicest guy around, which he felt didn't really mesh with the backstory. And he had such trouble saying lines with a straight face, namely the more romantic lines, and he even reportedly walked out on the London premiere of the film, even though it ended up being his most famous role. A lot of the sharks ended up being played by actors who were Greek.
Yeah.
And were put into brownface. And even Rita Moreno was put into brownface, which she later talked about as being incredibly demeaning and racist, where she was like, I am Puerto Rican, why are you darkening my skin?
Yeah.
This is the color of a Puerto Rican. And she was accused of being racist whenever she voiced her complaints about that. So it was just a really rough part of the film, was the fact that every person who played a shark was basically playing in brownface. do you want to talk about the reception?
I will.
Since I just did a 15-minute monologue.
It's okay. This is going to be really quick. So, awards and reception. West Side Story won 10 Oscars, making it the first musical film with the most Oscar wins, including Best Picture. It beat out Gigi a couple years prior, which had 9. It's regarded as like one of the greatest musical films ever made. It has a 91% on Rotten Tomatoes based on 79 reviews with an average rating of 8.3. It was a commercial success upon its release. It became the highest-grossing film of 1961. It remained the highest-grossing musical of all time until The Sound of Music in 65. And that's it. It was a big fucking success.
Do you want to talk about the dubbing?
I thought you were doing dubbing.
I can do dubbing. Sorry, I just spoken a lot, so...
No, I didn't write anything down for dubbing.
So, basically everyone except for the guy who played Bernardo was dubbed. Natalie Wood, who played Maria, was dubbed by Marni Nixon. That name may sound familiar way back from episode 1 as the woman who dubbed Audrey Hepburn in My Fair Lady. Now, even though dubbing Maria was Marni Nixon's chief assignment, she also did one number for Rita Moreno that required a relatively high vocal register, and having dubbed for both of them, Marni Nixon felt like she deserved a cut of the movie album royalties because it's her voice, but a lot of producers wouldn't give it to her until Leonard Bernstein broke the stalemate by volunteering a percentage of his income as a gesture of loyalty. So he ended up 0.25% of his royalties go to her, which ended up being a huge amount. Yeah. Marni Nixon also had to do the end of the quintet for Rita Moreno, and that was because the woman who was dubbing for Rita Moreno, Betty Wand, and Rita Moreno both had colds that day and could not sing. So they asked Marni Nixon to do the end, so at the end she is singing 2 voices at once, both Anita and Maria. Basically, everyone was dubbed, regardless of whether or not the actors could actually sing.
The only time you hear Natalie Wood's actual voice is the reprise of Somewhere when Tony is lying in her arms, dying.
Yes. Do you want to talk about other singing? Like, in terms
we could just talk about singing. Singing's great. No complaints except for a couple flat notes from the guy that dubbed for Tony.
Yeah, and it's so funny because I remember not being super thrilled with Marni Nixon's voice in My Fair Lady,
yeah,
but I loved it here.
Yeah.
I thought it was great. I thought everyone sounded fabulous.
In regards of dancing, like, it's Jerome Robbins. It's fantastic.
Dancing.
No, how dare I have notes?
I have no notes. I will say that the guy who played Riff initially said that he was super unhappy with his dancing in the film until Fred Astaire came over to him at the premiere and said that he really admired his dance.
He was doing fucking backflips in the dance at the gym.
Oh my god,
he was doing
everywhere.
Sir,
he was doing the most.
Go easy on yourself. You were killing the game.
Everyone was remarkable dancer, and you could tell that they chose people, especially since they were going to dub everyone anyway, they could choose people specifically for their dance ability, and they didn't have to worry whether or not they could actually sing the part, since they were going to have someone else sing it anyway, which ended up meaning that they had the best of both worlds. Do you have any gripes?
Brown face?
Yeah, that's a big one.
And, okay, not related to that at all. This was the first time I watched this film, and I was like, do I feel bad for Chino?
Yeah, I think Chino's given a raw deal.
He's really given a raw deal.
And he's arrested at the end. I mean, he's the only murderer left alive, because it's like a chain of murders.
But, like, if we, like, zoom out, and we're like, he likes this girl, she's not that into him, he's wrapped up in this gang, his gang leader is murdered in front of him, and then
by this guy.
Yeah.
And then the girl that he likes is in love with the guy who just killed his friend and her brother, which is insane.
Granted, he's a little bit of a dick to her on the roof, where she's like, why are you caring about Tony? You should care about everyone else.
Honestly, I support that take for him, because
it tracks
from his
for
point of view.
And then he gets arrested at the end. Granted, I don't know.
Justice for Chino.
I was a little bit justice for Chino at the end, but I wasn't sure if that was the right take or not.
Fair. Yeah, my biggest gripe is sort of what Richard Beymer said about his character. I thought Tony was portrayed as a himbo, and I wish that he had had a bit more depth. I understand what they were trying to do in terms of making, like, the caricature of the lovers, but
Listen, Romeo's a himbo. I don't know what to tell you.
That is true!
Like, that's my hot take from this episode. Shakespeare's rolling in his grave.
Shakespeare's like, this girl gets it.
She gets to do all the critiques.
Do you have a giggle?
You do your giggle first. Let me think about mine.
My giggle is that one little interaction in between Riff and Bernardo whenever they're trying to pretend that they're friends. It's like, hey, Bernardo, baby, do you want a cigarette? No, thank you, I do not smoke.
I guess all my giggles were like Anita's one-liners. Rita Moreno has fantastic comedic timing.
Oh, man. All right. Do you have fun facts?
I do. I have one. At the dance, specifically the get-together dance organized by our waiter MC, the MC is like, all right, boys to the right and girls to the left, and yet when the music starts, they go the opposite way. That's it. Nice little Easter egg for you.
I love it. So my fun fact is, during the entire production, the actors wore out 200 pairs of shoes, applied more than 100 pounds of makeup, split 27 pairs of pants, and performed in 30 different recording sessions. Let's bless those costume people who had to get all of those shoes and pants and makeup and, oh god, such a trauma. All right, do you have homework?
Do I have homework? Okay, this is a bit of a long-form homework assignment, but because this will have come out 3 days post 2021 film, I would love listeners to watch that and then watch this and compare the two and see what you think.
Yes, please. My homework is, I guess, watch all the dance numbers, but mostly watch the movie if you can, but if not, just watch the dance numbers, but mostly in honor of Mr. Sondheim, go and listen to your favorite Sondheim show. So as soon as I found out, I went and I listened to West Side Story, I listened to Company, I listened to Sweeney Todd, and after this recording, I'm going to go and listen to Sunday and a little night music, and just listen to his music, listen to his lyrics, and just, remember him, I guess.
That brings us to the end of this episode. Episode 22, West Side Story. If you're still here, thanks so much for being here. We appreciate you all. We can be found on all of the socials. Follow us at 5678, a movie musical podcast on Instagram, Facebook, 5678 podcast on Twitter for dramaturgical facts about current episodes and sneak peeks of upcoming episodes. We have a website coming soon. We also have an email account, Grace.
5678, a movie musical podcast at gmail.com.
Excellent. And while you're there, while you're viewing us on all of these streaming platforms, throw us into a star.
Yeah, write our epitaph.
Write
Give
a
us
review. We love to see it. Thank you all for listening. I cannot believe we have been on this journey for so long and that we are coming up to the end of season 1. Holy
coming
moly.
Up to a year. And I think that's all she wrote.
Is that all she wrote? I guess so.
I think that's all she wrote.
Thank you so much for listening. I have been Anna.
I'm still Grace.
Do your homework. We'll see you next episode.
Such a mean teacher.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
5, 6, 7, 8.
There's no business like show business, like no business I know.